As early voting continues, we're looking at a new report that found in the midterm elections of 2014, Tennessee recorded the lowest voter turnout in the country, about 28%. Experts say factors like new online registration and high-profile races, including the race for governor, should change that this year. So far, more than 6,000 people have voted early in Knox County alone. In the last election, early votes made up about half of the total number of votes.
Easier that you make it for people to vote and to find information, I think that that's definitely going to have an impact moving forward.
Researcher Katie Cahill with the Howard Baker Center at the University of Tennessee also says the next step is taking a closer look at Tennessee's counties to see what obstacles prevent voters from going to the polls.
At 6.